People, welcome to HighScore Gaming Plays RimWorld, Episode 1. Pretty fucking excited. I've actually played this game probably for about, like, a total of 15 hours, I'd say. Roughly that much. Enough to have two colonies reach the electricity era, so to speak, the industrial era. And, in both of these colonies, everyone ended up getting killed by packs of ostriches in some sort of weird freak scenario. If you're new to the channel, which you probably are because this is literally the first episode in the first series of my first Let's Play channel, basically I am HighScore Gaming, or you can just call me Russell, or really whatever the hell else you want to call me. If you haven't really understood or made the connection between the name of the channel and the quality of this commentary, then I think you'll eventually be able to use your context clues to deduce that for yourself. But anyway, what is RimWorld? Basically, it's a top-down FPS, MMO, AR, PG, F2P, PvE, and PvP. I'm just kidding. It's just a colony manager. It's actually very fun. I think as I begin playing, you'll kind of get the idea of it. But we start out with two scenarios here, one of which being crash landed. The three of you awake in your crypto sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown RimWorld. I never feel right saying RimWorld, but whatever. This is kind of like your basic scenario, and that being the case, I kind of want to, I prefer to stray away from it. I like to, I prefer using Lost Tribe, where you kind of start with 5 people and you have more manpower. Otherwise, there's the Rich Explorer, in which you're completely by yourself. You start with a ton of shit. But I mean, the principal problem with that is that there's no vaginas in this situation, and that's something that's very important to me when creating a colony and, reproducing. So we're going to start with the Lost Tribe, and the AI storyteller basically sets the pace for events occurring in the game. Cassandra Classic, this lady, she basically sets it up so that it rises in challenge as time goes on, steadily increasing curve of challenge and tension. Then there's Phoebe Chillax. She, let's see, gives lots of time between disasters to relax and build your colony, but beware, if she's set at a high challenge scale, she'll hit as hard as anyone. Wouldn't doubt it. Basically, I always use this guy because he's an edgy motherfucker. And he doesn't follow the rules. He generates random events and doesn't care if they make a story and isn't afraid of anything. And then base builder difficulty is just, it's kind of like it's the easiest without it being literally incredibly easy. But basically, I prefer to use base builder myself in permadeath mode. I've gotten a lot of my colonists killed in what I would consider to be kind of bullshit ways. Like, the whole ostrich fiasco. So I kind of prefer to keep permadeath off in case I want to reload an autosave or whatever. But, yeah, so let's jump into it. Seed 555151. And then this will generate a world upon which we can spawn. And I'll be honest with you, not entirely sure why anyone would opt to spawn up in the, the tundra up here. Growing period never. That's not a very attractive attribute for an area, I don't think. So I don't think I'll be, heading up there. I've made one colony in the temperate forest and another one in the rainforest. I've never done a desert because then it says growing periods year round. Fuck it. Let's go for what is this? Extreme desert? I think we'll try our luck in the desert here. Kind of close to the water. Seems like it makes more sense. We do have a pirate band based faction conglomerate here, the Dark Gauntlets, so maybe they'll fuck with our shit if we spawn this close. Can we spawn in the ocean? I'm just curious. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we can't. Bummer. Alright. So yeah, we're gonna start in the desert. And this is the part of the game where basically you take the role of Hitler and you use your know-how with eugenics and social Darwinism to construct an elite fighting force, an elite fighting group of tribesmen, I suppose. So we can just randomize the shit out of these guys and kind of cherry pick the best possible attributes. This part's probably going to take a little bit, you know, because we got 5 people, all of whom need to fit specific roles. And I tend to kind of try and randomize a lot so I can get the, you know, I don't want a guy with, he's incapable of dumb labor or being violent or being social. The dude can't talk to people, he can't kill anything, and he can't move things. So that's not really an attractive option for me, I don't think. So the first thing we're going to do is work on finding someone who can kill shit. Now, a warrior, Chaco specifically, seems like he's capable of killing shit. In fact, he might just be too smart. So fuck Chaco. Let's look for another warrior. Ah, shit, I passed one. That's probably going to happen a lot. Alright. Melee 13. Slowpoke, so she's kind of slow. Green Thumb, she's decent at growing. Alright, I mean, like, this is an attractive option. I find that having a high shooting skill, almost at all eras, is, in a way, more functional than a melee skill. Because when you're shooting at something like, say, an ostrich, it doesn't actually give it much of a chance, or a much lower chance to attack you and retaliate and fuck your day up. But, we could probably do someone who has good shooting and someone who has good melee, so we'll hold on to her for now. And, yeah, we'll find a guy who has, or a girl, who has a superior shooting stat. Kind of like the one I just went right over. Alright, well, I mean, here we go. This guy's a loner. He doesn't really like to talk to people. Already I'm kind of able to connect with this guy. He just kind of wants to get his job done. That's admirable. He's good with animals. Kind of nervous. Prostaphobe. He doesn't really like having robot arms, apparently, which I can't really blame him for. So yeah, now we have someone who's, you know, pretty good at melee and also who can get the job done with a bow and arrow. And he also has a fantastic growing skill, which I totally looked over until now. So that's incredible. Now, next we need someone who will be our cook bitch. The cook bitch has one job, cooking. But if she can fulfill other roles, then that's just gravy. This lady's trigger happy. It doesn't really matter much because she's not going to be primarily hunting. Unusually sensitive to psychic phenomena. She loves the heat. Well, we're going to a desert, so that's pretty fortunate, I think. She doesn't really like to talk to people either. Huh. Alright. Good at crafting too, and medicine, so she can kind of function as our doctor slash cook slash craft bitch. And she's also Green Lagua's fiance. Oh, so they're both loners, but they're engaged. Alright, even better. So this guy's a war chief. War chiefs are an interesting class because they typically start with higher shooting and melee skills, but they're not able to grow, cut plants, or haul items. And that's just like, this kind of sucks, really. So I think we're going to look for More of a person who has a higher construction stat or a higher mining stat. Kind of like this guy, I guess, but not this guy. I think we're looking for a digger. That's with a D. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, this guy has a mining skill of 11. Growing skill of 8 is pretty great. Construction of 5. Alright. I think for our last person, we do want someone who's good with animals. Let's see if we can't find someone who's... I'm not really sure what I'm looking for my fifth guy. On one hand, I'm like, I'd kind of rather just have another general laborer. You can just haul shit and do whatever, but, you know, it's always more useful if they're also able to hunt. Alright, so this guy's got 5 and 9 in shooting and melee, and then 11 in animals. That's pretty good. Industrious. Trigger happy. I think that's probably... I'm not sure if I would consider that a buff or a debuff overall, because there's less aiming time involved in shooting, and that's kind of a bigger factor than 2 points of shooting, I would assume, but Camo has a pretty face. Well, that's nice. The flames, by the way, I might not have mentioned next to the stats, that represents a how much passion the individual tribesman has for that skill. So if she decides to shoot, she'll level up at a rate 150% of that of medicine, if that makes sense. So what do we got? We got snake, green, blue, Kambaro, and camel. And then green. Oh, and then... So snake is this guy's sister. And then blue is this guy's fiance. Okay. I think I understand. I think we're good to go. Squad up. The gods were very angry. The blow machines came at night. They swept through your village, cutting and burning your people with their blades and devil fire. Only a few of you escaped. Now, after a harrowing journey on foot, with no close friends to turn to, you must build a new home in the wilderness like your ancestors did. Alright, that doesn't seem to be an issue at all. Do I have a pet warg? Alright, so the tribespeople, they start out with a number of pets. I've never had a warg be one of them. If you don't know what a warg is, it's kind of just like a big fat asshole, really. Heavily muscled wolf-like creatures, scientists say wargs are descendants of weaponized military animals created for population suppression. Yeah, just total douchebag. But I mean, he's on our side, so that's great. The first thing we want to do is unforbid all of this shit so that they can pick it up. Picking it up is kind of the first step to doing anything to it, anything useful. I guess that would be the second step. The first step is walking over to it. Alright. Okay. We got a lot to work with here. Pretty much no trees at all is what I'm kind of noticing. So, that's not good. We might want to consider ripping out these walls that were left here by whatever the ancients and using that as building material. On every map that I've been to, which I think is like a total of 3, because I made one practice colony like when I first got the game, every mountain has always had one of these like rooms attached to it. This one's protruding like extensively far, but basically in there it's usually like something that's pretty spooky, like evil robots. So I'm kind of just not gonna fuck with that right now. Let sleeping dogs lie, so to speak. So what we want to do, this is our architect screen. This is what we use for zoning and building. The most important thing I think right now is to build a stockpile area, or designate a stockpile area rather. Is this mud or soil? Oh, I see. So there's a limited amount of fertile soil. That does not bode well for us. This will be a challenge, I think. So we really want to monopolize this area for growing. I wonder if there's a way you can make ground fertile, so to speak, like... Bummer. Okay. Alright, so growing in this game is kind of like... It's practically necessary, I'd say, because without growing food, your only other option is hunting, and hunting isn't extremely... You know, they have very limited resources. So first thing we're going to do is cut down all of the... No, I'm sorry. Stockpile area. That's our first step here. I think right on the beach is a great place for it. No, that's actually like pretty fucking far away. Alright. We're gonna want to like put home base right in the center here, I think. So that's what we're gonna do. Take that shit down. What is this? Oh, don't fuck with that. Stockpile zone. We want two of them. One for basically everything else, and the other one for organic material and crafted material and its subsidiaries, I suppose. Did I just... Okay, no, I need to make this bigger. Alright, so these guys gotta deconstruct this real quick. Thank you very much. And I'll expand this in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the storage tab, and this one's going to be food. So we only want food, manufactured goods, so if we make any textiles, medicine, etc., we'll throw that in there. We don't want raw resources because that only includes building materials primarily. We do want items in there. We do want weapons, apparel, body parts, probably not. Chunks are basically like big chunks of rock here that we can use a stone cutting bench to cut into stones, which would then be building materials, but basically all they are just big assholes like taking up the entire map. So we'll haul all of those into the other one, keep it away from our food. We want animal corpses to be allowed in here, and we do not want any rotten corpses to be in here. So if we throw like, I don't know, like 100 ostrich in here and we prepare to cook them later, if they start to rot, we'll be like, ah shit, we'll move them over to this one, because that's just gross. Yeah, pretty sure that's good. And then we'll just do the inverse to the other one. No foods, no manufactured, yes raw resources, no items, no weapons, no apparel. I guess we'll throw body parts in there, and then chunks, yes. Right. There we go. And then we'll make the other one to scale here. This was 11 wide. There we are. I'll copy the settings. I was supposed to expand it, but it didn't, so just looks kind of weird, I guess. But these basically do the same thing, and they should have the same priority, right? Normal. Okay, that's all right. So then we're gonna cut all of the shit in here away, just Just get far away. Probably kill this iguana. We do want to equip the weapons that we were gifted at the start here. So, what are you? 6 and 13, slowpoke. You're definitely a club guy. Yeah, you're a club guy. You're shooting. So we're gonna give you a bow. You are just, that's our cook bitch. We're gonna give you the jade knife, because I don't think that's really good. I could be wrong. The digger just digs, so we're just gonna give you the pila. I don't actually even know what a pila is. Non-reusable throwing spears. Oh, I know, we have a spear. So never mind that. And then you are just going to take the last bow. And although your melee stat's higher than your shooting stat, I think over time, you know, it'll... Just trust me. It'll be alright. Not a big deal at all. Now, we're going to want to chop wood / cut plants. I guess mainly cut plants. All the way up here. And I'm hoping we get wood from some of these trees, because kinda don't have a lot of wood around here. I consider that to be a pretty massive problem. Then we're gonna select and haul these chunks out of here, so we can actually plant something there. I find that pretty difficult to plant shit when there's a rock on top of it. Whoop. Did we cut those? We did. Or we will. And let's deconstruct these walls, because we don't really need them anymore, to be honest. They're just kind of there. And we'll uproot these floors here. Get some stone blocks out of the deal. Yeah, that looks good. And we're going to need a little bit more wood, or at least more wood in our stockpile before I feel comfortable actually building our first cabin here. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I want to do it like inside of a mountain, which I think gives us, you know, just cooler temperatures. I did that with one of my colonies and it worked out pretty well. Otherwise we can just plop our shit down right here in this big ass area, and that might just be a better choice for now. I mean, there's no law saying we can't move our house or make a new one after we get settled, so we'll also deconstruct this. And then we just kind of watch them go to work. They're very efficient. They're not very smart, that's why they're, you know, they're just kind of built to follow orders and not do much else. They are pretty autonomous, though. I'll give them that. Cisco, the warg, we're going to train him to be obedient, to be able to attack our predators on command, to be able to rescue our comrades who have fallen in battle, and to haul shit, because that's pretty important too, I guess. And over time, whoever has the highest animal stat, which I think is camel? I think it's camel. He will attempt to train that animal to do those things, and it's like a % chance, and you have to get so many points. What is this? Agave fruit. That's pretty cool. I'm all for that agave fruit. Alright, so we're gonna set up some grow zones. And it's gonna be kinda weird. So that's 6% fertile. This is 100%. Alright, well, this is gonna look kind of shitty, I guess. But, I want to maximize this. Start here. Should probably do like half of this. Oh, I forgot to pause it. Oops. So, so we got quite a lot of options here as far as plants go. I think for my money, or at least from what I hear, the strawberry plant is kind of the meta because it has an extremely high yield. Doesn't take very long to grow, but based on my personal experience, I normally try and get a diversity. But this is my first time having a year-round growing season, so it might not even matter. So we'll grow some strawberries here, and then below it, since we have kind of, well, maybe we should just designate this shit right here. What's this at? 70%. So heel root is a plant used to make medicine. In fact, when you harvest it, it just becomes medicine, which is just great. Oh fuck. Well, whatever. But it's an extremely high yield plant, so we don't. Oh, shit. We don't actually need all that much space dedicated to it. Oh god damn it! Why is this so tough? All right. Okay. All right. I totally thought these looked like people for a second. They still kind of do. Like this is a little dinosaur, right? Or an ET alien type deal. And this is just a farmer going, eh. Alright, whatever. Sure. Alright, cool. So, heel root. Heel root. And you do need a growing skill of 8 in order to do that. In order to grow that. So it's fortunate that we happen to have Green Lagua, who has a high growing skill. I think actually a lot of you guys do. Never mind, I guess it's just Green Lagua. Alright, so we got heel root on these two guys right here. We got strawberries up here. And I think maybe we should designate this lower part for cotton, which doesn't become particularly important until later in the game, when we research how to make, better clothing, stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's probably our best place to go for that. It's not very high yield, but, every little bit helps. And then up here, I'm kind of thinking maybe we just grow a shitload of trees. Just a bunch of happy trees. Sounds like a phenomenal idea, considering we're completely devoid of any life for miles. And then we have a harvestable growing material year-round. And trees take forever to grow, as you might expect. Maybe we should just, grow them all around here. They'll probably grow naturally there anyway, I would assume. We'll do it like that. I don't actually know which tree is the highest yield, so to speak. I'm not sure. Unless I'm an idiot, I just don't see it. So I think I'll just say it doesn't matter. Probably shouldn't grow pine trees though. That would look a little bit out of place. Let's build up some teak trees, I guess. I'm gonna take a sip of Gatorade. And I think I'm going to end the first episode here. Seems like a relatively good place. I think I've been doing this for I don't know. I forgot to check actually what time. Beginner's mistake, I suppose. Anyway, please tune in next time. We'll be doing more of this shit. See you later.